So I know you had mentioned that there was some staff who were very influential in your development, your love for guitar,
Yeah, of course.
and kind of helping you through some of that emotional
Yeah,
trauma. You want to talk about him at all and what he did for you?
of
Or?
course. Yeah, Jake Jordan. Lisa hired him right around the same time that I started going. I think like the same school year he got hired and I started going there. And he was kind of just given the task of like make sure like this kid, like keep an eye on this kid pretty much. And he did, and just he was really good at like watching me. He was a guitarist himself, but he wasn't specifically looking like, is this kid a guitarist? But something I did just told him like, yeah, this kid might be a musician. He might be a art, like a painter, or, you know, he might be a creative of some sort. And so that's when he told my parents, hey, put this kid in my guitar class and let's just see what happens. I went to his lessons. The first lesson he started teaching, and it was like finally an adult is speaking a language I understand. At the time, I was getting in a lot of trouble at school. I wasn't performing well in my classes or anything. I was in counseling. I was in mentorship programs at school and at home, and nothing was really working. But when Jake started teaching me how to play guitar, it was a way I've just felt like an escape almost from like all the feelings I was feeling, all the like the sadness and depression I was feeling as a young kid. I'm sure Jake had a moment where he was like, I knew it. Like this kid is, I knew this kid was some kind of artist, some kind of creative, and it worked out perfectly. Jake was an adult that didn't. It's not that he didn't care where I came from, but it was more of like, it doesn't matter right now.
So how would you say that like the staff and volunteers and even the other kids helped you with some of the emotional issues and stuff surrounding
Yeah.
what had happened?
Well, there's another volunteer. There's two brothers that worked at the Boys and Girls Club when I was going there, and they were musicians as well. But they were a little bit younger than Jake. They actually went to the high school that was down the street, and so I already knew these guys were cool. I thought that these guys were cool, whether they were musicians or not. But once I found out they were musicians, they were like my favorite people, and they were huge role models on me. Their names were Andrew and Daniel Seco. They're so local. I see them from time to time. But he was the one that told me, he was like, you should put down like the Green Day and the Buddy Holly and the Beatles and check out this band, the Red Hot Chili Peppers. That from that point on, I remember he brought me the album Californication and played it at the Boys and Girls Club. There was like, it was before school. I was always the first kid there, and it was like this explosive sound that like it was a very important moment in my life. And so it was Andrew and Daniel Seco. They really showed me that it was like okay to be, it was like cool to be into music that much as I was. And they also were recognizing how good I was getting and how fast I was getting really good at playing guitar. And so they kind of thought of me as like being cool. So it was cool to be seen as cool from the people I think that are cool, you know, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So
Sure.
like I would learn as soon as they showed me the Chili Peppers. I would go learn all the Chili Pepper songs and come back and play it for them, and they'd be like this kid's really cool. Like it's like Andrew he wasn't being this nice to me because he knew that I had lost my parents and that I was the new kid in town and didn't have that many friends. It's because he recognized that I was a musician just like him, and I was feeling all the same emotions that he felt when he probably was learning how to play. And that's huge. Like every kid should have like someone like that in their life, you know, someone that can show them that it's okay to be passionate about the thing that you love. Because a lot of kids that I grew up with in Vegas, like the statistics of the amount of kids that are either dead or in jail is really high. I consider myself to be very lucky to have people like Jake, to have people like Andrew and Daniel. I see them all the time, and it's always nothing but love just seeing those guys. I mean, I met all those people at the Boys and Girls Club.